Welcome to the ET322 how-to video for the Clipper Clamper Circuits Lab, building it in Multisim. Okay, let's start with our positive clipper. So we're going to need a ground. So let's go to sources, power sources, ground. Okay, ground. So let's go to signal voltage sources. Let's do AC voltage. We can't use the power sources because it'll be an RMS and we want to do this one in peak. And let's go to basic. And we're going to need a 15K resistor. And we're going to need a diode. Use a 4001. Let's rotate this guy 90 degrees clockwise. And let's copy that one. And let's go in there and change this guy. And he's going to be 6 volts peak. And he's going to be 200 hertz. Okay, so we could grab those up until he makes the red dot, or we could make a line separately. So let's just do that. Okay, our circuit's done, so let's go get our Tektronix scope. And we need another ground. And let's take our input to take a look at our input signal, and we're going to take channel 2 and look at our diode. Perfect. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Okay, let's convert our circuit into a negative clamper. So let's go ahead and disconnect the wires to our diode. And we're going to go to flip vertically. So our diode is pointing up. We're going to reconnect. Let's just go ahead and we're just going to look at the diode here. Let's change our negative clipper and make it a DC bias clipper. So let's go ahead and go to power sources, and I'm just going to use VSS. I could use any of them. And I'm going to go to basics, and we are going to get a potentiometer so we could adjust the voltage. And I'm going to flip this guy horizontally so I could get him the output where I want it. And I'm going to borrow ground. And I need another one for my meter I'm going to grab here a second. So let's get a DMM. Okay. Guess I could have used that one, but so what this is a voltage divider. Variable, I'm using a resistor, so I've got up here minus 5 volts. 5 volts, not 65, 5. And we're going to take that and attach it to the bottom one. And we're going to hook our meter up to see what bias we have on. Okay, let's go ahead and convert this to a positive clipper, and we're going to put a positive DC bias on them. I'm going to do it a little bit different this time. So let's erase this. This is a good way for to do a variable voltage. Come on. Let's erase all of this. Put this back where he belongs. Okay, we're going to cut all this out, because we need to rotate this guy We're going to flip him vertically so we have a down-facing diode, so we get a positive clamper. And instead of our variable voltage, I'm just going to use VCC. And we need a 1.5 DC, so I'm going to click on it and convert it to 1.5. And now I have a 1.5 positive DC value, so I could go ahead, since it's not going to, we don't need to vary it. I just saved ourselves some time. So let's go ahead and make sure we're going to get the 1.5, which should be no problem. And let's hook out to our diode. Close this out. Okay, let's build our positive clamping circuit from scratch. So we're going to go to power sources and grab a ground. And signal voltages, we're going to grab our AC again. And we need to go to basic, and we're going to grab a resistor, 10K, and then we're going to grab an electrolytic capacitor, and we're going to make it 10 microfarads. And we need a standard diode, so let's go back to basic. And diode 4001, just like we've been using. Okay, good. So I think we have everything. So let's rotate counterclockwise because I want him up. We could rotate this guy either way because he doesn't care. And electrolytic capacitor, and you see this rounded area, that's the one that goes to negative, so he's backwards. So let's flip him horizontally. It's not going to blow up in Multisim, but we do have that possibility in the real world, so we want to make sure that we're going in the right direction. And let's borrow some grounds. And this guy's 5 volts peak to peak at 1K, so let's change our voltage to 5. 5 volts peak to peak, so this guy is voltage peak, so we want to go 2.5. And that's a comma, not a period, so that's not going to work. Okay. 2.5 peak. Let's hook up our grounds. And we have our clamper circuit. So let's bring in our Tektronix scope. Need a ground for him. Let's check our incoming voltage and our clamp voltage. Okay, let's make this a negative clamping circuit. So the only thing we need to do is reverse our diode. And let's just flip vertically. And we're done.